Alright guys, you know the drill. It's late, I scoured the internet for you, and this is what I got. I've been saying this for the longest time, that the communists have infiltrated just every sector of our society. They've infiltrated churches, they've infiltrated this public indoctrination institutions you would refer to as public schools. They've infiltrated the government. How far? Your next door neighbor is probably a commie if they're watching fake news. The media's infiltrated heavily with commies. Commies are everywhere, and if you ever wondered whether communists are infiltrating public schools, wonder no mo. Okay, I've been saying this for the longest time. You got a lot of damn libtards, which is the same thing in my opinion as commies, because they watch fake news and they want everything that's bad for our country, and they believe in abortion and taking away your guns and a lot of other things that are not good that communists believe in. Freaking libtards and commies. So for years, conservatives would say to conservatives, "Hey, chill out, calm down. Ain't nothing happening. No, they're there. Commies aren't in here. No. This is land of the free and home of the brave." Really? Seriously? Patriots, where are you in this? I mean, everyone just seems so complacent. So, I guess they're overwhelmed with day-to-day living now, done by design, just trying to keep their head above water. They feel like a squirrel trying to get a nut. That they're so distracted just trying to survive that it's everything's just overwhelming. Plus they hit us with so much crazy shit news all at once that it's hard to keep up. And that's why I really would rather make longer videos if I can again, because a lot of topics I want to cover, a lot of things, and it pisses me off that I just haven't been able to. I'm going to try tomorrow night to cover a lot of stuff that I'm seeing, because it's really it's ticking me off, the stuff that I'm seeing. But this is one of them. This is one of them right here. Conservatives, stop being hysterical. There are no commies in public schools. There are no commies and anti-Americans in the media. There are no commies in our government. Seriously? Jane Fonda's the biggest fucking communist around. So is that piece of crap Alyssa Milano, for starters. Kook Olbermann. I could list a ton of them that are anti-American pieces of crap. They're commies, all right? But we were, the people to the left would say, "Calm down, you conservatives. There are no commies here." Yeah, bullshit. We were told to quit seeing communists behind every chalkboard, behind every tree or whatever. We were told there are no commies here. There's no there. Yeah, commies are everywhere. Everywhere. And we weren't imagining this either, that commies are everywhere. The communists are not hiding in the shadows. They're handing out awards, they're giving speeches in churches, and openly recruiting students and teachers into the political movement that names its enemy, calls for resistance, and targets the billionaire class. It's happening in Connecticut schools. Let me repeat what I just said. The communists aren't hiding in the shadows. They're handing out awards, they're giving speeches in the churches, and they're openly recruiting students and teachers into their political movement that names its enemy, calls for resistance, and targets the billionaire class. And it's happening in Connecticut schools. At the December 13th People's World Amistad Awards, and you're like, "What you talking about, Wills? What is that? What is the People's World Amistad Awards?" Well, it's an event organized by People's World, which is the official publication of the Communist Party USA. Communist Party USA. Have you heard of that? I've heard of it. I haven't heard much of it in recent years, but I have heard of it. To actually have a Communist Party USA, and they're openly going to the schools in public, they're having awards, they're recruiting teachers, they're recruiting students. It's like something out of 1930s Soviet Union. Listen to this. At this December 13th People's World Amistad Awards on December 13th, an event organized by People's World, which is a Communist Party USA party. It is. All right. People's World is the actual publication of the Communist Party USA. People's World. Okay. So People's World, which is the publication, is having its awards ceremony. And it represents the Communist Party USA at public schools in Connecticut. Yeah, educators and students were celebrated for their activism under the banner of working class unity to defend our rights and fight for our future. Working class. That sounds familiar. Was that something in the 30s in Germany, or am I dreaming? If that sounds like it was lifted directly from a 1930s Soviet pamphlet, it pretty much was. Meet the Communist Union activists grooming the next generation. One of the featured speakers was Leslie Blateau, a New Haven public school teacher and president of the New Haven Federation of Teachers, who addressed the audience alongside students and fellow union members. She didn't talk about civics, critical thinking, or academic achievement. She talked about resistance, liberation, and class warfare. The message was unmistakable. This wasn't about education, it was about recruitment. Quote, she said, "Our target is clear. Our target is the billionaire class and the oligarchs who profit off of ICE contracts, who profit off of tax cuts." ICE contracts. So I'm sure she's against ICE, rounding up the illegals. So let's be clear. This is a sitting teachers union president speaking to students, explicitly naming a political enemy and framing public education as a front in a class war. Whether or not any of that makes sense to you is immaterial. Commies are in public schools, okay? And they are indoctrinating your children. Remember the last 4 years on the Beijing joke burden? Trannies here and teaching your kids to be deceptive to their parents, to go into the closet and change into a dress if you're a boy. It's okay. Shh, we won't tell mommy and daddy. Oh, what? You want to change into a boy, little Susie? Shh. You know, just go see the school council or school noise and they'll get you fixed right up, right? These fucking commie sons of bitches. You know they're in the public schools, all right? So let's cut the crap. If you can, get your children out of public indoctrinations institutions you call public schools. That's what I got for you. Okay, the article left me hanging too. I ain't gonna lie. This is from the Connecticut Sentinel. So if you don't like it, take it up with the Connecticut Sentinel, okay? The Connecticut Sentinel. Did you hear me? Yeah. I just read you the Connecticut Sentinel. So if it's a Connecticut newspaper, this has to be actually happening. It could have been... Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't over the article. My bad. Scrolling down here and all that. My bad. So she says, let me get back to it. There's more to the article. There's a lot of advertisements. I thought it was over. She says, you know, their target is the billionaire class. She's teaching kids this, to target like certain classes. Shouldn't be doing that in school, should you? Shouldn't be teaching kids to target this, target that, should you? Our target is the billionaire class and the oligarchs who profit off of ICE contracts. They're teaching the kids, don't like ICE. And anyone that profits off the contracts, whatever that means. Blateau went on to emphasize that teachers and students must be united in resistance, declaring that our survival and our liberation is interconnected. Resistance to what? The Constitution? Federal law? Having ICE round up illegals? Resistance to what, Blateau? You piece of crap commie you? Parents who don't want I can't read tonight or talk. Parents who don't want Marxist slogans replacing math homework? Who are they targeting? Parents that don't want gay, faggy, disgusting, degenerate library shit in the library? Books? Huh? In the library? What are they resisting? That parents, they want parents to pretty much shut their pie holes and not come up to city council meetings to protest tranny hour at the school? What are they resisting, these commies? Are they resisting the Constitution? Are they resisting the federal law? Are they resisting rounding up illegals? Do they want open borders? Of course they do. They're pieces of crap, and they're in schools indoctrinating children, yours, if you're in Connecticut, but they want this everywhere. They're still doing it in different ways around the country in public schools. But they're openly doing it in Connecticut, a libtarded state. She didn't exactly specify what she was resisting, because within activist circles, that part is assumed. The targets are anyone on the other side, just like we've seen with these libtards. They are the party. They are so loving. They are so open to you, accepting, until you step on their toes, until you don't agree with just one iota of their shit. Then they get violent, as they call you the violent Nazi. They project what they are onto you. You've seen it dozens of trillion times. Now listen to this. If a Republican teacher stood in front of their students and said, quote, "Our target is the activist left and the bureaucrats destroying America," they'd be fired immediately, right? But it's okay for these bitches to say we're targeting billionaires, we're targeting anyone who benefits off of ICE. Basically, they're targeting ICE. They want illegals in here. They want destabilization. These people are reptiles. They're not even people. They're pieces of shit demons. These libtards, these commies. And so to actually be there in a school to students and teachers and everything, and say, "Oh yeah, we're targeting the billionaire class and anyone who benefits off of ICE contracts," which I don't know what that means, benefiting off of ICE contracts, but whatever. That means they don't like ICE. That means they're targeting something. You shouldn't be talking about targeting anything except targeting, I don't know, your curriculum and making sure that you are on target and doing your job that you're supposed to be doing, which is indoctrination anyway. So anyway, you slice it. Get your kids the fuck out of public schools. All right? Students are not being taught. They're being trained. They're being indoctrinated. Because like this article says, if a Republican did this and said we're targeting the libtards, we're targeting these fucking commies, we're targeting the fake newsers, we're targeting all these bitches that are anti-American, we're targeting them. If you said that in school, you'd be gone before lunch if you're Republican. But it's okay for them to say it. The students themselves echoed the same talking points. Imagine this. Imagine this. They repeated what she said. They echoed it, the students. Indoctrination. Melanie, a senior at Wilbur-Cross High School and a leader with Connecticut students for I can't even read. I can't even see it with these glasses. Melanie, a senior at Wilbur-Cross High School and a leader with Connecticut students for a dream, told the audience that she had spent the year speaking in classrooms, auditoriums, with legislators, with the governor, learning how powerful it can be when young people decide not to stay silent. Not learning. They're not speaking, they're not organizing. I mean, I should say they're not learning. They're speaking and they're organizing, just like Obama was an organizer. They're not learning anything. The only thing they're learning is to be good little sheeple, good little commies, is what these students are learning. This is what she had to say. When young people organize, things change. Sounds like Obama. He's a fucking commie. Conversations change, policies change, communities change. So gay. Oh, I forgot to pause every 2 seconds. I'll do that in the next video. I'll be sure to get my pausing skills up. So our young generation is not being educated. They're being deployed. They're becoming activists. They're being groomed, just like they groomed them with the tranny shit and the gender nonsense. And the kids didn't set this agenda. The teachers did, and this friggin' Communist Party did. They all need to be held accountable. But, of course, just like everything else that's evil in the society, they're not going to be held accountable, are they? Until they're held accountable. I hope this all makes sense. I thought schools are supposed to be neutral places where you don't bring in your politics and you don't bring in your libtarded, or maybe even conservative. Well, conservatives are patriotic, and I taught Georgia history, and Georgia history has a lot of patriotism in there. But, by and large, you're not supposed to push an ideology. You're not supposed to be doing all these things that these commies do in the schools. You're not supposed to. It's supposed to be pretty much a neutral ground. But it's anything but a neutral ground. So if you can, get your kids out of these public indoctrination institutions. Also, on top of that, don't forget you got DFACS, Child Protective Services. That's an organized child abduction ring in and of itself that's endorsed by the government. And that's very closely tied with the public indoctrination institutions. So there is that. It's amazing. I haven't taught over 10 years, but I saw it coming when in 2012, they said in 2013 we would go to Common Core curriculum. And I was like, common? That sounds like communism. And here we are. Classrooms are being repurposed as political staging grounds, with communist activists setting the agenda and teachers helping them run the operations. If you can, get your kids out of these hellholes. Basically like 8-hour prisons. Compulsory education. Put that in quotes, education. Compulsory. Remember that? Compulsory. Just beating the shit into their heads over and over again until this is what they become. And that's not what we want our children to be. We don't want our children to be robots. It's ridiculous where we're at. Don't be troll out there. If you see a troll, say something on that.